Barron Trump celebrated his 17th birthday with an unexpected gift from his parents, a German Shepherd puppy named Shadow. From the moment they met, Shadow and Barron became inseparable. Shadow brought energy and joy, not just to Barron but to the entire family. Shadow was intelligent, agile, and eager to learn. Barron spent hours teaching him simple tricks, like fetching a ball, sitting, and shaking hands. Yet, in Shadow's eyes, Barron occasionally noticed a flicker of fear, as if the pup had endured something traumatic before joining the Trump family. For the most part, life seemed perfect, but lurking in the shadows of their home was a heartbreaking secret waiting to be uncovered. One early morning, Barron woke up earlier than usual to take Shadow for a walk. As he entered the kitchen, he heard a faint whimper from the corner of the room. There, he saw Shadow cowering under the table, his entire body trembling. Standing before him was Martha, one of the household maids, clutching a rag with an angry glare. "Martha, what are you doing?" Barron asked, his voice sharp with concern. Martha flinched, quickly masking her expression. "Nothing, sir. The dog made a mess and I was cleaning it up." But Barron wasn't convinced. He noticed how Shadow's fear intensified whenever Martha was nearby. Determined to uncover the truth, Barron discreetly installed a hidden camera in the kitchen and Shadow's sleeping area. After a few days, the footage revealed the shocking reality. Martha had been yelling at and physically intimidating Shadow, sometimes using a mop to strike him. Holding the footage in his hands, Barron marched straight into the living room, where his parents were having a conversation. With unwavering determination, he said, "Mom, Dad, I need you to see this." The video played, and the atmosphere in the room grew heavy. Melania Trump, known for her love of animals, couldn't hold back her tears. Even Donald Trump, often seen as stern and composed, looked deeply disappointed. "Martha will be dismissed immediately," Donald said, his tone firm. However, Barron wasn't satisfied with just firing her. "That's not enough. We need to do something to ensure this doesn't happen to other animals." His parents were taken aback by his resolve, but also filled with pride at his sense of responsibility. After Martha was dismissed, Barron devoted himself entirely to Shadow's recovery. He read books on animal psychology and researched methods to help dogs overcome fear and trauma. The first few days were challenging. Shadow remained anxious, flinching at loud noises and retreating from unfamiliar faces. Barron was patient and gentle. He avoided forcing Shadow into situations that might overwhelm him. Each morning, they took long walks in the park, where Shadow slowly began to feel a sense of safety and freedom. Barron used Shadow's favorite treats to encourage trust and confidence. Over the months, the light returned to Shadow's eyes, and his tail wagged happily whenever Barron called his name. Shadow's ordeal inspired Barron to launch a campaign called Light for Shadow. The initiative aimed to raise awareness about animal abuse and promote humane treatment of pets. Barron organized charity events and partnered with animal welfare organizations to rescue and support mistreated animals. One notable moment came during a national television interview. Sitting beside Shadow, Barron shared, "If we don't protect those who cannot protect themselves, we lose a part of our humanity." Shadow, now a healthy and happy dog, sat proudly by Barron's side, his story touching the hearts of viewers across the nation. Donations flooded in to support Barron's campaign. Barron's campaign quickly grew into a nationwide movement. He was invited to serve as a youth ambassador for the largest humanitarian organization in the U.S. Schools incorporated Barron and Shadow's story into their curriculum to teach children about compassion. Shadow became a symbol of resilience and trust, appearing on posters, videos, and at events. During a major conference in Washington, Barron spoke passionately. "Shadow taught me that love and kindness can heal any wound. I believe we can do the same for all the animals out there." Martha, after being dismissed, felt profound remorse. She began volunteering at a local animal shelter where she learned how to care for and love animals. One day, she wrote a letter to Barron, thanking him for helping her see the error of her ways and inspiring her to change. Barron read the letter with a soft smile. He looked down at Shadow, who lay peacefully beside him. "We did it, Shadow," he said. "We didn't just change your life, we've changed others too." Shadow, as if understanding, wagged his tail gently. Together, they continued their journey of spreading kindness and hope to animals and humans alike. As Barron's Light for Shadow campaign gained traction, it began to spark conversations nationwide. Families who had never considered adopting a pet began visiting animal shelters, inspired by Shadow's story. School children wrote essays about compassion, and social media platforms buzzed with the hashtag #LightForShadow. One particular story caught Barron's attention. A young girl named Mia had been inspired by his campaign to adopt a stray dog she found near her school. The dog, whom she named Lucky, had been malnourished and timid, but slowly began to trust Mia through her patience and care. Barron invited Mia and Lucky to one of his campaign events. As Mia shared her story on stage, tears filled the eyes of the audience. Shadow, sitting beside Barron, wagged his tail in approval, as if to say, "Well done, little one." Shadow, once a victim of abuse, had now become the face of hope and resilience. Barron took Shadow to schools, community centers, and animal shelters, where they held workshops on understanding and caring for animals. Children, seeing Shadow's playful and affectionate demeanor, learned to overcome their own fears and hesitations around animals. During one such visit to a shelter, Barron met a boy named Ethan. Ethan, who had been struggling with bullying at school, found solace in the company of a shelter dog named Daisy. Seeing the bond between Ethan and Daisy reminded Barron of his relationship with Shadow. "Animals have a way of healing us," Barron told Ethan. "When we give them love, they give us even more in return." Inspired by Barron's words, Ethan convinced his parents to adopt Daisy, bringing joy to both the boy and the dog. Despite the overwhelming success of the campaign, not everyone supported Barron's efforts. Critics questioned whether his privileged background gave him the authority to speak about issues like animal abuse, while some media outlets dismissed his work as a publicity stunt. Barron, however, refused to let the negativity deter him. He focused on the positive impact his campaign was having and continued his efforts with unwavering determination. "People will always have opinions," Barron told a reporter during an interview. "But what matters is the difference we're making for animals like Shadow and the people who love them." Meanwhile, Martha's journey of redemption unfolded in quiet but meaningful ways. At the animal shelter where she volunteered, she learned not only how to care for animals, but also how to appreciate their unconditional love. A scruffy terrier named Max caught her attention. Max had been abused and was wary of humans, much like Shadow once was. Day by day, Martha gained Max's trust. When she finally adopted him, she felt a profound sense of healing. Holding Max close, she whispered, "You've taught me how to love again." One day, Martha reached out to Barron, asking if she could meet Shadow and apologize in person. Though skeptical at first, Barron agreed, hoping the encounter could serve as a moment of closure. Martha arrived at the Trump estate with Max by her side. As she approached Shadow, the German shepherd's ears perked up, but he stayed close to Barron, his protector. Martha knelt down, her voice trembling. "Shadow, I'm sorry for everything I did. You didn't deserve that, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it right." Shadow, as if sensing her sincerity, stepped forward cautiously. He sniffed Martha's hand before gently licking it. Tears streamed down her face as she realized the depth of forgiveness an animal could offer. Barron watched the scene unfold, his heart filled with hope. "Shadow has a big heart," he said. "It's up to us to live up to it." Years later, the Light for Shadow campaign had evolved into a global initiative. Barron and Shadow became icons of compassion, inspiring millions to stand up against animal abuse and treat all creatures with kindness. On the anniversary of the campaign's founding, Barron stood before a crowd in Central Park, Shadow sitting faithfully by his side. "Shadow taught me that love, patience, and forgiveness can change the world," Barron said. "And together, we've proven that no shadow is too dark for the light of compassion to shine through." As the crowd erupted into applause, Shadow barked joyfully, his tail wagging like a flag of victory. Barron knelt beside him, scratching his ears. "We did it, buddy," he whispered. "We made a difference."